This podcast is sponsored by the Fireman Moving Company. The Fireman Moving Company is the official moving company of WKU Athletics. Not only can they be trusted to move all the coaches in and out of Western, but they can move you anywhere nationwide. The Fireman Moving Company is owned and operated by firemen and is founded by WKU alumni. If you're looking to move sometime soon, give them a call at 270-791-1755 and get yourself a free quote. Welcome to Topper Talk, your number one Western Kentucky athletics podcast. I'm your host, Stephen Moffitt, and I'm joined by co-host Tyler Bailey. Hilltopper Nation, whether it's happening on the hill or on the road, grab those red towels, stand up and cheer, because it's up next on Topper Talk. All right, welcome back, and thank you for downloading and listening to another episode of the Topper Talk podcast. We are the official podcast of the Red Towel Trust Collective, and we're a proud member of the College Huddle podcast community. Make sure you're following us on all of our social media platforms. Head on over to our YouTube channel. Give us a like and a follow there. Subscribe. Feel free to comment and rate and review. Do all the fun stuff. We appreciate that. It helps all the algorithms, etc. And I got Tyler here with me. We got surely a fun Kennesaw State game to preview, but man, you ready to get started and dive in?
Yeah, man, it should be a good one. Let's get into it.
But before we jump into Kennesaw State and the game day that is, we have to get caught up with our Red Towel wrap-up, which, as always, is brought to us by Trent Bedding Company.
Don't forget your headboard, pillows, and your sheets. We got everything you need for a good night's sleep. Number one on the same check, best of Bowling Green. All right. Hey!
Twins, full, queen and king, mattresses for anything. Come and pick it out and we can bring it to your house. Have you sleeping real good before the weekend's out. Trent Bedding. It's just like a mattress store. Hey.
Just like a mattress store. But men's golfer Stephen Warren, he was named to the Conference USA Golfer of the Week after his top 10 finish at the Furman Invitational.
Yeah, Stephen Warren putting together a good fall season. A couple times he's been named Golfer of the Week. So congratulations to him. Looking forward to seeing, what the spring season brings once the weather starts to get a little nicer for him. So congrats to Stephen.
Moving on to Lady Topper Golf, they concluded their fall season with an 8th place at the Alley, led by Sydney Hackett, who was finished in 23rd with 3 over. Kaylee Dwyer, she was 6 over, and she was tied for 29th. And Avery Klein in 36th, and she was 8 over.
Yeah, good finish for the Lady Toppers, especially without their their normal top golfer and Katie Craig, the senior leader. Which is always at or near the top of the scoreboard, the leaderboard. So finishing 8th without her, I think, is very respectable. Again, Kaylee Dwyer, true freshman, 2nd place in strokes on the team. So just really awesome news for her. And I guess this next topic, we'll find out why Katie Craig wasn't with them.
All right, yeah, as you alluded to, golfer Katie Craig, she finished tied for 32nd at 4 under and advanced to the LPGA final, qualifying by finishing in the top 35. Craig, by virtue of her finishing at this past week's qualifying stage, has already secured Epson's Tour, which starts for next season, which could begin at the conclusion of her amateur and or collegiate career.
Yeah, congratulations to Katie Craig. Just has had a remarkable career here at WKU. And so far through her junior season, now a senior, had an awesome summer, which, every time she was in an event, traveling, wherever she was playing, we were recapping how she was doing. Now at the LPGA Q school, trying to, set herself up for her professional career after this WKU time ends. Made us proud, finished in top 35, qualified for the qualifying stage of the Q school, automatically is eligible to play on the Epson Tour, which can start, this next year. Like you said, whenever her collegiate career ends. So great job to her. Congratulations to her. Really enjoy following, how she does on the course, and always makes us proud.
Oh, for sure. Moving on to WKU volleyball, they defeated UTEP 3-1 Friday and 3-2 on Saturday.
Yeah, and that was made even more impressive by a couple facts. One, UTEP was 20-2 coming into those two ball games. So they had only lost 2 games, 2 matches all season. They were the first team in the nation to win 20 games. And on top of that, we were playing at UTEP. And then we come to find out the day of the match that Travis Hudson and Craig Baer didn't even make the trip to El Paso because they both had freak accidents playing in a recreational volleyball league. A foot injury and an Achilles injury for those guys. So they're down for the count, going to have surgery this week. But our girls still went down there against a really tough opponent. We were both undefeated in conference play. Went down there with Jenna Otek as the, interim head coach. And they just went down there and battled. That Friday match 3-1 was a battle. I think the final set went to 30, which is crazy. And then Saturday, a 5-set thriller. But just the experience and this team, everything they faced, all the adversity they faced in the non-conference schedule, this is when it pays off. They're used to playing those P4 quality teams, those NCAA tournament volleyball teams, and they're just as good. They're that caliber. They may not be ranked top 25 right now, but if they keep winning, it's about time to start creeping back towards that top 25 because they're still undefeated in conference play. Haven't lost since non-conference. I think that's like 85 consecutive regular season victories in Conference USA. So, 4+ years worth of winning regular season matches. So what more can you say? Hudson said it best, culture wins. And that's what he's built, in 30 years as the head coach. So congratulations to volleyball. There was a lot of things working against them in that road trip, and they still prevailed in an impressive victory.
WKU tennis competed in the MTSU Invitational with North Alabama, MTSU, and EKU.
Yeah, there's too many results, for all those teams, all those matches, all the, the singles and the doubles results there to list everything. But WKU did go 4-11 in singles, so not the greatest outing, but against some tough competition, and they were 2-4 in doubles. And as always, those full results can be found on WKUsports.com.
WKU soccer, they tied FIU 0-0.
Maddie Davis, clean sheet. I feel like that's what she's done all season. We've had a little bit of a hard time finding the net. But, at the same time, we've got a goalkeeper that's kept us pretty clean for most of this fall season. So, we'll take it. It's a point. That's not a loss. So we'll take that. Go Tops.
WKU basketball lost their exhibition to UAB to a score of 79-88.
Yeah, really tough game. That was not your normal exhibition. That was not KWC. That was not Brescia, Campbellsville, Kentucky State, any of those usual tune-up games that you have. This was, a really good UAB team that won the American last year, was a 12 seed in the NCAA tournament last year, and returned a lot of really good players, plus some good portal additions, favored to win the American Conference again. This was a good test straight out the gate. I didn't come into this game expecting to win it by any means, but I wanted to see us keep it competitive. And, we were close a lot of the game. The second half, UAB stretched it out, and I think it was up by 15 or so at one point, and we were able to get that back down to 9. But there was some good to take from this game, even in a loss. Babacar Faye was our leading scorer with 20 points. Don McHenry added 16 points and 4 assists. Braxton Bayless also had 4 assists. And then Jack Edlin had 3 of our team's 8 steals in just 8 minutes of action. So, have to take the good with the bad. Hilltoppers did have 18 assists in the game with only 12 turnovers. I was really impressed with what I saw, the highlights with Julius Stedford. We've talked about him this summer, hearing good things in practice and in conditioning. And then when we did our preview episode, he was somebody that we both kind of highlighted and circled and said, this is going to be a guy that's going to play himself onto the court. And he definitely lived up to that in his first time, wearing a Hilltopper jersey. So, we hate to lose, obviously, but doesn't count against the record. The season starts, a week from today as we're recording late Monday against Wichita at home. So that's the one we need to tune up and get ready for, learn from this game, and just get better moving forward.
All right, and we already talked about the volleyball team once, but twice is even better. So Kaylee Cox and Olivia Skidmore was named, Cox was named Offensive Player of the Week, and Skidmore was named Freshman of the Week after wins over UTEP.
Yeah, death, taxes, and apparently Kaylee Cox and Olivia Skidmore being named the Players of the Week, because I think this is the third time they've held that double down for those two awards. So Kaylee Cox, preseason conference player of the year. She had 39 kills, 8 blocks, and 4 aces, and 25 digs, while Skidmore had 27 kills herself as a true freshman. So, two impressive players, a senior leader and then a true freshman, just looking forward to that future of what we have on the roster, help lead us to victory, without our head coach and our associate head coach there. So congratulations to those two ladies.
That concludes this week's Red Tower wrap-up. Moff, back to you.
Yeah, good stuff as always. A lot of recognition, well-deserved, and definitely glad to shine light on some of those sports that aren't the most attended or spectated, but we like to show appreciation for all the student athletes that are out there representing WKU and doing it well. So love that Red Tail wrap up. But we've got a football game to preview coming off a bye week. Kennesaw State comes to Bowling Green, Kentucky to play us here on Wednesday night at 6:30. The game will be on ESPN2. There is the Flo Rida pregame concert that will be on South Lawn. Definitely going to be just a solid atmosphere. The last couple of years as we've done those pregame concerts and had the blackouts, South Lawn's going to be packed. I'm sure they'll have the stage up by Preston again like they did last year. It seemed to be a little bit more spacious than having it up by closer to Duck or DSU, whatever you want to call it. So looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a fun atmosphere. At this point, weather should be nice. We're in these 70s and pushing 80s. So it should be great temperature outside. And then just, show up, watch a fun concert, and then go watch hopefully an impressive football game, because I think Western should have a good time on the field as much as we do in the pregame concert before the game. Now, as far as records go, WKU enters this game with an overall record of 5-2. We are 3-0 in conference. We're coming off a bye week after most recently beating Sam Houston on the road, and Kennesaw State is entering this game with a record of 1-6, and they're coming off their first ever FBS win over former conference favorite Liberty. And I say that with a little bit of, are they the conference favorite? They've had a lot of games this year that they're just squeaking by. They're not Liberty of 2023. They have some deficiencies. They have some weak spots. They have some areas that can be exploited. And quite frankly, a winless team took them to the woodshed and got their first ever victory over, at the time, an undefeated Liberty team. So now, congratulations to Kennesaw. They're going to be riding a high and some confidence and, just some momentum coming into this game. And we've got to, meet that and squash that early and often, I think, when this game kicks off. And Liberty, I don't know. They've got Jacksonville State. That's a tough game coming up this week. But as far as betting wise, WKU opened up as a 24-point favorite, which was the tied for the largest spread in all of the Week 9 games this week. I think Boise was also a 24-point favorite over their opponent. So the over-under is at 50.5, and the ESPN matchup predictor gives WKU a 93.1% chance of winning. So I'm saying there's a chance. This is, just on paper, looks really, really good and really, really favorable for WKU, playing well, winning ball games. Kennesaw State obviously has got a little bit of a buzz, a little bit of a high coming in, just beating Liberty. But, Tyler, before we jump into the specifics and the stats and players, et cetera, how does this game feel on paper to you?
Man, I called the EKU game a trap game, but I mean, honestly, well, I don't know. That's giving Kennesaw. That's disparaging EKU too much by comparing them to Kennesaw State. I mean, I think this should be an easy victory for us. Defense is playing great, offense is rolling. Yeah, Kennesaw State's going to have a little bit of swagger to them. They're going to say, well, we got the first one. That's always the hardest one to get. Let's go for two. I just don't think this team has it in them. I feel like this is going to be kind of reminiscence of when we just absolutely demolished FIU at home a few years back. And I think my score prediction is going to kind of hint to that.
Yeah, I definitely think, this one could get ugly fast. And I think as we talk about the players, we talk about the stats, we talk about, all the reasons why, it just becomes that much more clear that this should be a game that we're favored by 24, quite frankly, a team transitioning in their first year in FBS. But let's talk about some of those players to know. First, on the offensive side for Kennesaw State, their leading passer is quarterback Davis Bryson. He's number 9. He's a 5'9", 190-pound sophomore. He is 73 out of 131 passing on the season. That's 55.7% completion percentage, 805 yards, 3 passing touchdowns, and 6 interceptions. Their leading rushers are Michael Benefield. He's number 0. He's a 5'7", 205-pound junior. He has 75 carries for 296 yards and 2 touchdowns. And then they have another running back with just as many carries, 75 carries as well, with Quay Ashley. He's number 30. He's a 5'10", 195-pound sophomore. Has 252 yards on the season and 1 touchdown. And then their leading wide receiver is Blake Bohannon. He's number 5. He's 6'1", 190-pound junior. He has 14 catches for 159 yards and no touchdowns. And then their second leading receiver is that running back Quay Ashley, 15 catches for 153 yards, no touchdowns for him receiving either. So as a team, Kennesaw State is averaging 15 points per game, which is ranked number 131 in the entire NCAA. That's out of 134 teams. That's not good. Passing yards, they're averaging 135 yards passing per game. That's good for 129th in the nation. They're averaging 106 rushing yards per game. That's 121st in the nation. They're averaging 2.8 yards per carry. For the total offense, they're averaging 241 yards per game. And then this really jumped out at me as well. They have fumbled the ball 13 times. They have thrown 9 interceptions, and they've given up 8 sacks. Those 9 interceptions are 115 worst in the nation. There's only 18 teams that have thrown more interceptions than this Kennesaw State team. So, I mean, they don't run the ball well. They don't pass the ball well. And they try to give it back to you for some reason. 22 times the ball's been fumbled or intercepted. So just not a lot of bright areas for this Kennesaw State team. And then on top of that, our scoring defense is averaging 22.43 points allowed per game. That's number 55 in the nation. And I did a little math. I like numbers, and I started crunching. I said, man, if we took out the 63-0 to Alabama, if you took that game out, which I know you can't do in reality, but say we didn't play Alabama game 1 and we just played an average team, we gave up 22 points that were averaging, including that 63. We go from being the number 55 scoring defense in the nation to the number 12 scoring defense in the nation, giving up 16 points per game since the Alabama game. So that's pretty good. So, Tyler, talk to me about this Kennesaw State offense, what you expect, what you don't expect, just on paper. How do these guys look?
Well, I expect our defense to have an absolute field day with these guys, either getting back there and sacking or getting them interceptions, maybe a 2 or 3 pick sixes. I'm hoping. But you also, Bryson, he's also the team's number third rusher, 115 yards, he's got 54 carries for 115 yards, and their fourth leading rusher is their tight end, Preston Daniels. He has 31 carries for 76 yards. Now, might they try to pull some trickery on us and, have some play where they hand it off to the tight end? Probably will be very effective. No. Judging by all them numbers, this team, terrible. Last year when we had those 4 newcomers into the conference, they were actually pretty good. This team, I don't want to overlook anybody, but terrible. I think the only bright spot on their team is actually their kicker. I was going to say this for later, but heck, let's just get out of the way now. He's 100% from the 30 to 39 yards out. That's his golden range right there. From 40 to 49, he's 3 of 3, and 20 to 29, he's 1 of 1. He's got a long of 49 yards. So, I mean, they may be depending on him a lot this game, because I don't see their offense being very effective against our defense. And, I mean, really, I think this is going to be a fun game for the Tops.
I'll go even a step further. If this becomes a kicking matchup as well, I still like our odds. If it's just Lucas versus their kicker in a kickoff, I like our boy Lucas. I don't think it's going to come down to that, obviously. But, yeah, if that's their bright spot, if that's their MVP, yikes, watch out. Let's talk about some of their defensive players we need to know and need to be aware of. The first guy is their defensive back, Sidney Porter. He is number 11. He's a 6 foot, 215-pound junior. He has 43 tackles on this season, 16 of those being solo and 1 pass defended. Then another defensive back, Mylan Jones. He's number 29. He's a 5 foot, 11, 190-pound junior. He has 41 tackles with 13 of those being solo. He has 1 forced fumble and 1 pass defended. And then a linebacker, Danelius Johnson. He's number 48. He's a 6 foot, 220-pound sophomore. He has 40 tackles, 13 of those being solo, 2 sacks, and 1 forced fumble. This defense is allowing 30.57 points per game, which is number 108 in the nation. Again, out of 134, that's not good. That's pretty bad. So they give up a lot of points. Now, granted, we're not setting no world on fire. I think we're scoring 28, 29 points a game as it stands, but that also includes that 63-0 to Alabama. I didn't do the math there and figure out where we'd be points per game if you took that out, but it would obviously be significantly better, and they're already giving up a lot of points per game, a lot of yards per game, and they're only scoring 15 points per game. So, Tyler, what about this team defensively? What do you think? What do you expect? Can they match up with our offense?
I don't think they'll be able to match up real well. I mean, granted, they are holding teams to, 20s, 30s. MTSU, they held them to 14 points, but, there's no surprise there. MTSU's garbage with them. Jacksonville State did put up 63 on them. I think we would match up better with Jacksonville State. But, I mean, if you hold UT Martin 24 points, okay, UTSA 28, Louisiana 34. I mean, this team just not good. I mean, just pretty much just bottom of the barrel, like you've been saying with all the team comparisons, their team statistics, their rankings. I think our offense is going to have a fun day. I'm expecting a lot of big time plays, a lot of deep passes, because I feel like our offensive weapons can get behind them really easy. And I think Elijah Young and the running back core is probably going to have a good day out there.
Yeah, I think you're saying we need to load up the fireworks in the stadium. Make sure we got the backups ready, the reserves ready, because it could be an electric night on the field for our offense. And I'm here for it. I think you're absolutely right. So that being said, let's jump straight into our keys to victory. Tyler, what's your first key to victory versus Kennesaw State?
We got to keep the defense playing like they have been. We've been holding teams down to low numbers or or just holding them and making them punt or turn over on downs. We don't need to let off that defensive intensity.
My first key to victory, and I agree with yours, I think our defense absolutely has to be aggressive with everything we just heard and talked about with their struggles of passing and running the ball, scoring points, etc. But I think if you dial that down a little bit further, I think you have to win on early downs. You have to win on first and second down because this team likes to run the ball. They prefer to run the ball if they can. We talked about their quarterback, 55% accuracy. 9 total interceptions, a lot of fumbles. I think it was six to 8 total sacks. I think that's spread among multiple quarterbacks. So if you can stop them on first and second down and make them one-dimensional, make them where they have to drop back and pass the ball, they're not very successful passing the ball. They will turn the ball over. They will make bad decisions, bad passes, and that really gives our defensive line that opportunity to pin their ears back and just go after the quarterback and make a disruptive play, or one of our defensive backs to jump a route and get an interception. So, but I think the key to that is stopping them early on first and second down, because they're going to want to slow this game down, keep the ball out of our offense's hands and keep our defense on the field. So we have to stop them on first and second down and put them in third and long situations. Tyler, what's your second key to victory?
Show up. I'm joking. No, don't let them hang around, because, they are coming off a big win against Liberty. They celebrated. Heck, their fans rushed the field twice that night. The football team's fired up. So you can't let these bad teams just hang around and keeping that hope alive. You got to get out there. You got to squash it early and keep your foot on their throats.
Yeah, mine's pretty much the same. My second key to victory is we have to start fast. I mean, we can't, like you said, we can't let them hang around. They pretty much controlled the game against Liberty. Liberty couldn't get out of their own way, kept having just these dumb and terrible penalties, just undisciplined football, which has been, something they've done all season. That wasn't the first game they've had that issue. They've just been able to overcome it in previous games and squeak by with a close victory. But finally it came back and bit them. So that, we have to jump out, to a quick, 14-0, 21-0 type lead early in the first quarter. And that even goes more into my first point. You start making them one-dimensional where they can't take the air out of the ball and start running the ball. They have to drop back and pass the ball and try to make chunk plays and get down the field, which they're not comfortable doing. They don't, that's not something they lean on heavily. They're not a heavy passing team. And they throw, they quite frankly, they turn the ball over a lot when they do drop back and pass. So jump out early, stop them early on downs. I mean, all those things are going to play into our favor of just making this hopefully a lopsided victory in the Hilltoppers' favor. Tyler, what's your third key to victory?
Kind of piggyback off yours, play our offensive game, come out, make the big plays. You can sustain drives, but play up tempo and just put points on the board, man.
My third key to victory is going to be turnovers. One, it goes without saying, we have to take care of the ball. We have to value the ball. We can't cough it up, fumble the ball, throw interceptions. Football 101, value the ball, don't give it up. But this team has 13 fumbles on the season and 9 interceptions in 6-7 games. I mean, that's multiple times the ball's, getting caught by a defender or hitting the turf for somebody else to jump on it. So, we've got some aggressive guys on defense, guys that will punch the ball out, jump routes, make big plays for our defense. I think our defense has to continue to be exactly what they have been this season, which has been our MVP unit, quite frankly. They've led us to pretty much every victory we've had. They've just got to keep playing and just causing chaos and havoc and just forcing turnovers, because they, quite frankly, the stats say that we should have several of those, in front of us and there for the taking if we just force them to make a bad decision or put them in a bad spot and, punch it out or jump a route. So turnovers are going to be there. We just have to capitalize and take them the other way. Tyler, who is going to be your MVT, your most valuable topper versus Kennesaw State?
All right, so I'm going to do an honorable mention first, and that's going to be Tick Leslie and the rest of the O line. You know, they've been doing a good job all season. I ain't going. I'm going to put their names out there, but I'm going to say Keyshawn Johnson. That's who I'm going to go with. I think if he has a good game, I think Top's going to have a great game.
Yeah, I think the offensive line, they're that grinder position that doesn't get a lot of love, but we've had a lot of success running the ball as a team. It's not always, a one-man show, Elijah out there, gashing everybody for 100 yards, but it's a team effort, a good running offense, which has been spearheaded by this offensive line. And I like Keyshawn. He didn't have a huge game versus Sam Houston, kind of surprisingly quiet. A game that I thought he would have exploded and just had a big output game versus them. But that being said, this feels like that perfect kind of bounce back game for him where we're going to be airing the ball out, trying to pull away and put this away early and, get some of those bench and depth players some time in the second half to get on the field. So Keyshawn's a good selection. I'm not mad at that at all. I'm actually going to go with Caden Veltkamp because I think, and that's my default answer. A lot of times he is the straw that I often say stirs the drink. His arm is going to be spreading that ball around to a lot of capable and willing receivers. We've seen it be River Helms. We've seen it be Keyshawn, Mike Matheson, Musa Berry. We have a lot of targets. Katie Hutchison. We have a lot of guys out there that can go make plays. And Caden has shown that his ball placement, his accuracy, his decision making has gotten so much better as he's gotten these starts, consecutively under his belt now. He just needs to continue to be that guy. Go out there and make good decisions. One of those keys to victory being, don't turn the ball over. We can't throw picks. We can't fumble the ball. And that really, a lot of that rests on the quarterback's arm. Go out there, play smart, make good plays. And help lead us to victory. And I think he's going to do that. I think he's shown that he can and will do that. And I really like our offense in his hands. He has absolutely balled in this new starting position. I'm really happy and excited for Caden in this game and moving forward for the rest of the season. Now, Tyler, what about your score prediction for this, 24-point favorite game versus Kennesaw State?
All right, so preseason I had it 42-20 Tops win. Seeing how their season has gone and how our season has gone, dang, I'm torn between two numbers. I give you their total. It's going to be 3, if that. But I think it's possible that we shut them out. But I will give them 3 points just for maybe new timers' luck.
They've got a good kicker, you said.
That they do, but I don't think he gets within field goal range. I think we're better than Jack State, and Jack State beat them 63 to 24 or something. Realistically, I'm going to say it's 56-3, but I'm going to put it down 66-3. It's going to be a boat race, and we're going to take them to the woodshed, and it's just going to demoralize them.
Woo. Been a while. I remember that FIU game a couple of years ago. That was an exciting, full of fireworks game. And that was a fun one. I'm not going as high. I'm not going 66 or 56. I think Helton a lot of times is more conservative than that with the offense. Granted, if the backups get in there and they keep doing it, then do it. If they can't stop you, do it, I guess. But I'm going to go with a 42-10 Hilltopper victory, which is my preseason was 31-21. I really thought Kennesaw would be a little better offensively, adapting to the FBS. Obviously, they've not proven that, averaging 15 points a game. So give me 42-10. That's a convincing victory, easy walking it off. A lot of the bench players and depth players, guys redshirting that can get in under their 4 games. I think that we're going to have a lot of guys that get to play in this game. Maybe see QB 2-3, down the bench that we haven't seen much this season. So real excited for this game. I don't think it should be in doubt, but we do have to take them seriously. They've shown that they can upset. You know, if you let them linger around, like both of us said, we have to start fast, not let them hang around. You know, put that pedal down, put your foot on their throat, and just leave no doubt. Be aggressive with our offense, be consistent, and just put as many points on the board as possible. I mean, I would love to see your 66, quite frankly. I know I predicted 42, but 66 sounds good as well. I already said let's get more fireworks in the scoreboard. We need all the fireworks. So I'm really excited for this game. You know, it feels like it's been a while. I missed the last home game versus UTEP because I was out of state, out of town, and during a hurricane in Florida. So it feels like it's been a while since I've been at home between bye weeks and missing a game because of fall break. So I'm ready to be back on the hill, enjoying some tailgating, you know, the pregame atmosphere and festivities of South Lawn and the concert and, you know, perfect football weather and just everything that's going to go into getting ready for the energy and the atmosphere in the Houch, for what I think is going to be a convincing victory as we continue to march towards conference championship appearance, you know, in the championship game. Quite frankly, I think that's all in front of us. We control that destiny as it stands right now. And there's not a game on this schedule left that we can't win, but we have to start with the one right in front of us, and that's Kennesaw State. And yeah, sorry, you're going to meet the Hilltopper Buzzsaw this Wednesday at 6:30. So Tyler, jump in, give us your final words, your final thoughts, and take us on out of here.
Well, I'd like to start out by saying something that I missed earlier in the Red Towel wrap-up. It was brought to you by the Trent Bedding Company. So, Moff, back to you. But, Tyler, back to me. You know, I do enjoy it's going to be nice to be back home after a bye week, after a away game. I hope all the fans come out, wear black since it is a blackout. The new tops decal that they're going to be having on their helmet is reminiscent to the old jerseys where they had the school seal in the numbers. It's dope. Whoever's in charge of the video and, you know, the equipment room, hats off to y'all dudes. Y'all
Ben Hayden and staff, shout out, man.
Dude, y'all doing things this season, man. I appreciate it. It's awesome. But no, everyone needs to come out to the concert, to the game, stay the entire game because it should be a great game. But man, I mean, I'm just ready to be back inside the house celebrating a win. Don't forget, we also have Twitter Spaces. It's the Topper Talk after game, post game call-in show Twitter Space. Everyone needs to come in, listen, talk. You know, if you got something to say, let us hear it because they are fun, and I mean, it's just nice hearing things from different people. So, Moff, who has a brother than us, dog?
Nobody, buddy. You know it.
You know, go Tops, y'all.
Go Tops. Later, guys.
See you.